Man, it's bitterly cold, and cold weather has a massive impact on fitness. The question is, what's the correlation between fitness and cold weather? Quite simple. When it's as cold as it is right now in the UK, your motivation generally takes a dive anyway, and that impacts so many things. Now, with that comes the reluctance to do those things that you do not, that's the key thing here, those things that you do not have to do. And one of the things that you do not have to do really is fitness. Let's call it spade a spade. Fitness is great. If you get into it, there's so many benefits, which I'm not going to go into in this video because that's not what this is about. Nevertheless, it's a fantastic thing to be involved in. However, let's face it, you really don't have to do it. That's why when the weather is cold, it takes a particular mindset for you to get out of your comfort zone, go out there and get yourself fit. We're in lockdown now, which makes things even worse. That means gyms, which would have been warm for you to go to and work out, are closed. And there's a limit to what you can do within your home. Some are fortunate, maybe they have a garage that they've converted to a gym. I don't have the luxury of that. So my number one go-to thing is running. However, that's an issue now with the lockdown and the weather. I want to talk about running in particular, and there are a few things that we need to do to make sure that we keep going. I mean, let's face it, it's really miserable cold. I mean, look outside, my window, it's dark. It's 4 o'clock in the evening and look outside. How bad is that? And it doesn't get bright until about 8 o'clock in the morning. Basically, you have about 8 hours of some form of sunlight. So what is it that we need to do to ensure that we keep our running going despite the current weather and the lockdown? A few things. But before I go into that, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this YouTube channel. I guarantee you it's a nice place to be. Fitness, I will make it fun, practical as much as possible. So the few things that we need to do are, number one, ensure that you dress appropriately. Now this is the trick. When you open your door to go for your run, the first thing you want to do is really deck up in terms of having layers and layers of things to wear that will keep you warm, which is the logical thing to do. However, not necessarily the right thing to do. I went for a run today and I had a top on and I had an underlay underneath that. My intention was to run half a marathon. I think about 5 miles into my run, I found myself at home to take off the underlay because I was heating up big time. I had a hat on as well. I had to take it off because I was seriously heating up with it. So while you want to dress warm, don't dress too warm. Don't overdo it. Otherwise, you get very uncomfortable. So make sure that you just have enough to keep you warmish to get out. And once you start running, your body will get warm really quickly. So that's the first thing that you want to do. The second thing you want to do, and this is quite crucial, is to make sure that you plan your route. Now, when you run during the day when it's bright and light, you could run anyway, it's fine, you could see everything. But when you're running in the dark, there's a great possibility that you would run when it's dark because we only have an 8 hours window. Now, if you need to do that, make sure that you plan where you're running to, you plan your routes, and there's a particular reason why you need to do that. You need to ensure that the street lights are working so you could see. You need to make sure that at least it's to a degree familiar so as you do not find yourself in a tricky situation. It doesn't have to necessarily be your favorite route, but a route that is well lit. Also, it's quite important, which is number 3, to ensure that you're visible. Let people see you. So make sure that your running gear to a degree has reflectors so that vehicles driving by can see you, other people can possibly see you as well. It's quite important that that happens. So there are many tops, running tops that have tiny reflectors on them. Otherwise, you could buy yours, just strips, and then wear it around your arm, and that would just give you a degree of visibility. People can see you. It's really crucial that that happens. And number 4, while it's not too much of a bad idea to run on empty, especially when you're running in the morning, it will be advisable to have a bit of fuel in you. So just have something light, to eat, maybe half an hour before you start your run, especially in the morning, because it's particularly cold. You want to keep your energy level up. You want to ensure that you are enthused, and the energy from within will help. Remember, it's cold, it's dark, you're alone, and sometimes energy from within would help. So those are the 4 quick tips that I want to leave you with. Put them in place and ensure that you keep going. Don't stop. Don't let this weather stop you. Now, if the roads are icy, slippery, of course, give it a second thought. Do you really want to go out there? You do not want to get yourself injured. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how cold it gets, you can still do that thing that you love, that thing that will get you fitter, that thing that will enhance your fitness. Remember, this is your fitness.